They say blood is thicker than water. But what they do not tell you is that sometimes blood is just a sticky mess that stains everything it touches. My name is Sarah, and for 30 years, I thought my younger sister, Emily, was my best friend. I thought my husband, Mark, was my soulmate. I built my entire universe around these two people. I watered them with my love, my time, and my money. And in return, they decided to burn my world to the ground. But here's the thing about fire. If you know how to control the wind, you can blow the flames right back onto the people holding the match. Mark thought he was a genius. He thought he was playing 4D chess with our finances. But he made one fatal mistake. He forgot whose name was on the deed. This is the story of how my husband slept with my sister and how I legally sold his house out from under him while he was on a business trip with her. Mark and I have been married for 5 years. He was a successful contractor, charming, handsome, and slightly arrogant, but I love that about him. I was an accountant, steady, reliable, the one who kept the gears turning behind the scenes. We were the couple everyone envied. We had the cars, the vacations, and the crown jewel, a stunning 4-bedroom colonial house in the suburbs that Mark had renovated himself. It was his pride and joy. He called it his legacy. Then there was Emily, my little sister, the wild child, the one who could never hold down a job, never pay her rent on time, and always needed just one more loan. I adored her. I defended her when our parents said she was a lost cause. When she got evicted last year, who took her in? We did. I did. Mark was hesitant at first. She's chaos, Sarah, he had said. She'll ruin the vibe. I begged him. I looked into his eyes and pleaded for my sister's safety. I told him family comes first. God, I was so stupid. I didn't see the way his eyes lingered on her when she walked into the room. I didn't notice the extra cologne he started wearing. I was too busy being the good wife and the good sister to notice I was the third wheel in my own marriage. To understand the revenge, you have to understand the house. 2 years ago, Mark got sued. It was a messy business dispute with a former partner who accused Mark of cutting corners. Mark was terrified of losing his assets. He came to me one night, sweating, holding a stack of legal papers. Sarah, he said, his voice trembling, if I lose this lawsuit, they could take the house. It's my biggest asset. I need to protect it. I need to protect us. His plan was simple. Transfer the title of the house solely to me. On paper, I would be the sole legal owner of the property. It was a quitclaim deed. He sold it to me for $1. We signed the papers, notarized them, and filed them with the county. The lawsuit eventually blew over, settled out of court for a few $1,000s. Here is the kicker. Mark never asked me to transfer it back. He was lazy with paperwork, and honestly, I think he trusted me implicitly. Or maybe he just forgot. He continued to pay the mortgage, he paid for the renovations, and he walked around like he was the king of the castle. But legally, according to the state, the county, and the law, that house was 100% mine. It happened on a Tuesday, not a dark and stormy night, just a regular, boring Tuesday. I had come home early from work because I had a migraine. My car was in the shop, so I had taken an Uber, which meant the driveway was empty. I walked up the steps, massaging my temples, just wanting to collapse in a bed. I unlocked the front door quietly, trying not to make noise in case Mark was on a conference call. I heard giggling. It wasn't the television. It was coming from upstairs. My stomach dropped. It felt like I had swallowed a stone. I walked up the stairs, my heart hammering against my ribs like a trapped bird. The door to our master bedroom was slightly ajar. I pushed it open. There are moments in life that divide your timeline into before and after. This was my moment, seeing them there. My husband, the man I vowed to love until death, and my sister, the girl I taught to tie her shoes, entangled in my sheets, in my bed, in my sanctuary. They didn't see me at first. I watched for 5 seconds. 5 seconds that felt like 5 centuries. Then, Emily looked up. Her eyes went wide. She didn't scream. She just whispered, "Oh, God." Mark scrambled up, pulling the sheet over himself, looking ridiculous and small. Sarah, it's not what it looks like. It is not what it looks like. You are naked with my sister in the bed we bought for our first anniversary. What exactly could it be, Mark? A naked family wrestling match? I didn't scream. I didn't throw things. I went completely cold. It was like all the heat drained out of my body, replaced by liquid nitrogen. Get out, I said. My voice was so calm it scared me. Sarah, please, let's talk, Mark stammered. Get out. Emily started crying, grabbing her clothes. Sarah, I'm so sorry. It just happened. We didn't mean to. You didn't mean to? Did you trip and fall? Did you accidentally undress and land on my husband? Get out of my house before I burn it down with you inside it. They left. Mark tried to stay, tried to grab my arm, but I looked at him with such dead eyes that he backed away. He packed a bag. He told me he would stay at a hotel for a few days to give me space. He told me he loved me. He told me it was a mistake. As he was leaving, he looked back at the house. We'll fix this, Sarah. This is our home. We'll fix this. Our home. That was when the idea sparked. A tiny, wicked ember in the darkness of my mind. The next day, Mark texted me. He said he was going to give me space for the week. He said he had a pre-planned business trip to Miami that he couldn't cancel, but he would be back in 5 days to make things right. I checked Emily's Instagram. She had posted a picture of Plain Wing. Caption, needed a getaway. Miami vibes. They were going on a vacation together. The day after I caught them, the audacity was breathtaking. It was almost impressive how little they respected me. They thought I was the doormat. The nice, reliable Sarah who would cry for a week and then forgive them because family is everything. I sat at my kitchen table, drinking coffee out of a mug Mark bought me, staring at the deed to the house. I had pulled it out of the safe. My name, just my name, Sarah Jenkins. No Mark, no joint tenants, just me. I call my friend Jessica. Jessica is a shark. Technically, she is a real estate agent, but really, she's a shark in a blazer. Jess, I said, how fast can you sell a house? In this market, she asked. If the price is right, I can sell it in 24 hours. Why? You moving? I want to sell the house. Today. Cash only. As is. Sarah, does Mark know? Mark is currently in Miami with my sister, spending our savings on margaritas. I don't care what Mark knows. The house is in my name. Can we do this? There was a silence on the line. Then, I heard a slow, delighted inhale. Oh, honey, Jessica said. I'm on my way. We listed the house that afternoon. We priced it $20,000 below market value. It was a steal. The condition was that it had to be a cash deal, and they had to close immediately. No inspections, no contingencies. Because the house was beautiful and priced to move, we had a bidding war by sunset. I accepted an offer from an investment firm. They offered full cash, a 7-day close, but I negotiated. I told them I would knock off another $5,000 if they could close in 48 hours and take possession immediately. They had the capital. They agreed. The next 2 days were a blur of adrenaline and packing. I didn't pack everything. I packed my things. My clothes, my books, my furniture, the kitchen where I bought. And Mark's stuff? I hired a moving company. I told them to take everything that belonged to Mark. His expensive tools, his clothes, his massive television, his beloved leather recliner, and put it in a storage unit. I paid for 1 month of storage. Just one. I stood in the empty living room. The echo was haunting. This was where we put up our Christmas tree. This was where he proposed redoing the floors. This was the legacy. It was just wood and drywall now. Without love, a home is just a box. And I was selling the box. We closed on Friday morning. The money was wired to my personal account, a separate account I had opened the day before at a different bank. $280,000 of equity. Pure, liquid freedom. I handed the keys to the new owner, a nice guy named Dave who wanted to turn it into a rental property. It's all yours, Dave, I said. You might want to change the locks today. Way ahead of you, he said. I moved into a sleek, modern apartment downtown, a building with a doorman and no memories. I blocked Emily's number. I blocked Mark's number. But I didn't block Mark's email because I wanted to see the notification. Sunday afternoon. That was when they were scheduled to land. I was sitting on my balcony, sipping a glass of expensive white wine, watching the sunset over the city skyline. My phone buzzed. Voicemail from Mark. I didn't listen to it yet. Another buzz. Text from Mark. Sarah, my key isn't working. Did you change the locks? I know you're mad, but let me in. We need to talk. 5 minutes later. Sarah, there's a strange man in the driveway telling me to get off his property. This isn't funny. Open the door. 10 minutes later, my phone started ringing incessantly. I finally answered, putting on speaker so I could sip my wine. Sarah, he was screaming. He sounded like a wild animal. What did you do? Who is this guy? Hello, Mark, I said softly. How was Miami? Did Emily enjoy the beach? Shut up about Miami. Why is there a stranger in my house saying he owns it? He does own it, Mark. I sold it. The silence on the other end was heavy. It was the silence of a brain trying to compute the impossible. You what? I sold the house. We closed on Friday. The money is in my account. Well, my money is in my account. Since the house was solely in my name, the proceeds are legally mine. You can't do that, he roared. That's my house. I paid the mortgage. I renovated the kitchen. I built that deck. And you cheated on your wife with her sister in the master bedroom. Call it stupid tax, Mark. You wanted to protect the asset from lawsuits? Congratulations. You protected it from yourself. I'm going to call the police. I'm going to sue you. Go ahead, I said, feeling a smile spread across my face. I already asked my lawyer. The deed was clear. A quitclaim, remember? You signed over all rights. You have no claim. Oh, and your stuff? It is in a storage unit on 4th Street. Unit B9. I paid for 30 days. After that, they auction it off. You better hurry. I heard Emily in the background. She was crying. Mark, where are we going to stay? I gave up my apartment. I hung up. I didn't want to hear her voice. I didn't want to hear his excuses. I just wanted the silence of my new life. The fallout was nuclear. Mark tried to sue me, of course. He spent what little money he had left on a lawyer who basically told him he was an idiot. The judge threw it out. The paperwork was ironclad. Mark had legally gifted me the house years ago. The fact that he paid the mortgage was seen as him contributing to his wife's property, essentially rent. Because I live in a no-fault divorce state, the division of assets usually splits everything 50-50. However, because I had liquidated the house before filing for divorce, and because the house was premarital property, technically, since the deed transfer happened years prior and I could argue the funds were kept separate, I had huge leverage. I eventually gave him $20,000 just to make him sign the divorce papers quickly and go away. He took it. He was broke, sleeping on a friend's couch, and his reputation in town was ruined. And Emily? The love affair didn't last long once the money ran out. It turns out, Mark isn't as charming when he is living in a studio apartment and drowning in debt. Emily tried to reach out to our parents, playing the victim. She told them I had left her homeless. My parents called me, furious, demanding I help my sister. I sent them the video. Oh, did I mention? I have a nanny cam in the bedroom to watch our dog when we are away. I sent my parents the clip of Emily and Mark mocking me while they were in my bed. I sent them the audio of Emily saying, Sarah is so boring, she'll never figure it out. My parents haven't asked me to help Emily since. It has been 6 months. I used the money from the house to start my own firm. I travel. I date men who don't need me to be their mother. I am happier than I have been in a decade. Sometimes people ask me if I feel guilty. They ask if it was too harsh to sell a man's home out from under him, to leave my sister with nothing. I think about the moment I opened that bedroom door. I think about the vacation they took while I was sobbing on the kitchen floor. And I sleep like a baby, because in the game of betrayal, you play to win or you play to lose. And I won.